Hi there, I'm Timothy Linsdale, video producer, a Christian. I've always liked muscle cars ever since I was a kid. Those, hopped up GTOs and Chargers and Mustangs. That was quite an era. And when I see them being rebuilt and updated, they look really great. But there's a revolution going on in California, and this is one of the places of muscle cars and the such. And they're being electrified. Hey, like and comment on my videos, subscribe to my channel, that'd be terrific stuff. Yeah, I'm reading the Union Tribune here, San Diego Union Tribune. Talks about the new era of hot rodders being electric cars. I'm just like, whoa, really? Well, it kind of caught my attention because I was listening to one of those economic shows about budgets and all that kind of thing, and they got to talking about cars, and the guy on there made the point that the thing about electric cars, they require very little maintenance. And every time I go to my mechanic, I'm always going like, when I get the oil changed or something, I get passed without a big bill, I go, whew. But I got thinking about that, there's something to it. Well, nowadays there's enough wrecked electric cars on the junkyard market that these hot rodders, tinkerers, are coming up with stuff. And this is quite local. In a garage near South Los Angeles, a metal fabricator fits battery packs borrowed from decommissioned Fiat 500Es and puts them under the hood of a Mustang. In Oceanside, which is not too far from me, former AAMCO mechanic combines the suspension system battery packs from total Teslas. There's enough wrecked Teslas now. He made an 800 horsepower all-wheel drive Shelby Cobra. Can you imagine? Man, it's like heresy to hot rodders, you would think, but 800 horses? Whoa. Well, anyway, there's quite a few of these guys that are starting to get into it. Automotive world's consciousness about what can be done in electric vehicle space, making good money doing it. That's probably what's interesting most about this article to me, that these people start doing this stuff as a hobby, and now they're making money doing it because people pay a lot of money for them. Their price can run from $30,000 for a do-it-yourself kit for a VW Bug, or a fully customized up-to-the-tires EV overhaul, which could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. These guys are taking drivetrains out of Teslas and Nissan Leafs and putting them in all kinds of vehicles. The Quail Motorsports, one of the country's most respected annual automotive events, said hot rodding electric cars just like their grandfathers did in 1932 Fords. That's what they're saying. Gordon McCall, he's the founder of the Quail Motorsports, says it's like a new revolution. The new hot rodders are electric cars. That's wild. Said the EV classics are gaining stature on the custom car circuit. Said August Quail event featured a tribute to electric car movement. On the fairway, there were VW minibus conversions, 49 Mercury. You may recognize that classic from, I think that was a Stallone movie. And that was, in fact, that 49 Mercury was the top prize in the Quail's first ever electric car class. Amazing stuff. There were some of these tinkerers and mechanics became motivated from, just the idea of electric cars, the less pollution involved, and started getting involved. Some as far back as 2004. Started to convert cars. Some started with old-fashioned lead batteries. They were, of course, heavy and hard to control. But as soon as they got one built and it worked, people started asking for their own. I had them build one for them. Process was tedious, sometimes undependable, but they kept working along like car guys do, figuring out how to make it work. They were like, one of these guys said, they were like rolling science experiments. You had to be a tinkerer to own one. I can imagine. Salvation came along when Elon Musk came along and his idea of creating an electric car and make it mainstream. And things started to change after that. One of the things was, of course, was the development of the batteries, the motors to make it all work, the drivetrains. Musk poured phenomenal amounts of money into the research for this equipment to make it work. And that really was the answer to this. The lithium-ion energy packs that were powerful and rechargeable and reliable are what made a big change. When Tesla owners crashed their Tesla Model S sedans and Model SUVs, and the cars wound up as insurance write-offs, EV scavengers came running. Because in the early days, of course, this is always how it is, if you'd gotten in on the early days, it would have been cheaper. Of course, the demand's up now. Yeah, they said in the early days, for a few $1,000s, you could pick up their undamaged battery clusters from the wrecked cars. The increase in power and range of the custom electrified vehicles made them a lot easier to own and operate. One of these builders says you could just hand anybody the keys and say, go ahead and drive till electricity runs out, and just plug it in again. Becoming more and more dependable. EVs have accelerated in recent years as more and more people know about them and start gaining a passion for, of course, environmental issues have become bigger. Some made the point, well, you know, I could get an old car, any car I'd like, pay a low amount of money, have it electrified, and I'd have the car I want, only electric. And very little pollution to make it happen, because you wouldn't have to be building a new car. Pretty neat. There are some who have, numbers who have developed companies. A couple from San Francisco had a passion for Volkswagens, started converting those and came up with a company called Z Electric Motors. They convert most kinds of VWs, and people are digging them. They found putting maintenance-free electric drive trains into vintage vehicles eliminated a lot of the mechanical babysitting the original ones needed, the original electric cars. There are people who love the design of these classics, but they don't want to be wrenching on them, so it's getting better. Let's see. For one customer, recently an electrified 73 Porsche 911S now has a 240 horsepower electric motor over the original 180 horsepower gas engine. Now it's just a question of going faster in an old car, sometimes too fast. I have driven an electric car. They are very zippy, and that's some years back. I suspect they're even more. But here's something one guy tried, that I think I mentioned that, yes, the 800 horsepower Shelby Cobra that guy built was almost undrivable and had so much power. They had to try to come up with ways to reduce its power, because he said even at 50 miles an hour he stepped on the gas, the car would go sideways, losing traction because it had so much power. Wow. Well, the solution was Shelby. They make the Shelby more like a Tesla by adding a Tesla drivetrain and suspension system, and that gave them something they could work with. And so they had a classic Shelby Cobra that was faster than anything on the road. In fact, this guy quotes, "Now I can go down the road with the wind messing up my hair, out accelerate anything, and not be killing any trees." Okay. Fascinating stuff. Some prices. One fellow bought a $2,500 79 MG that had come to the end of its days. And he went to one of these outfits, and for $19,000 they modified it. So that's what? 23, well, yeah, 2300, something like that. Said it has amazing torque. It says that has 60-mile range. That's a little short. I'm not sure that that's a right number there. That winning Mercury probably could have cost $500,000. But the one mechanic wouldn't give that up for his business. But he did say he has sold rebuilds for $500,000. Probably not the average person. He says with a top speed of 120 miles an hour and 150-200 mile range, the vehicle offers the beauty of the classic with the modern attributes of power steering, air conditioning, Bluetooth connection, and of course an electric motor. So wow, on it goes. This is amazing stuff. It says these Franken vehicles have far fewer moving parts than gas-powered cars and need little service attention. Oh, I like that idea. Man, that's what really caught my attention. Every time like I said, I go to the mechanics like, oh boy, what's it going to be this time? You know, transmission, engine. And I hear people buying new stuff and having it crack up on them in 50,000 miles. And I go like, oh my gosh. Speaking of Tesla, Tesla was not very excited about this happening. They didn't respond to the article, questions in the writing of the article. In fact, they actively discouraged the use of salvaged vehicles and their parts. They said it took creative work by dedicated hackers to write third-party code that would allow the builders to remove the batteries and use them properly. A little detail. Downside for many is the cost. Tesla batteries pulled from wrecked cars now are $16,000 and up. Remember the early days? That's long gone as the demand goes up. But, you know, again, as the demand goes up, they start to build more, there'll be more cars. It's changing the muscle car world in a way one might not expect, since these cars will probably be faster, more acceleration and torque. Amazing stuff. In fact, I remember seeing some years ago, they were already building noise, you know, engine noise that you could put in your stereo in case you were missing the noise of the old V8. So on it goes. It says as many as 700,000 Teslas may be currently on the U.S. roads. And company reported sold 97,000 in the third quarter. So there's going to be more and more, and there's going to be more and more wrecked ones. But anyway, that's kind of amazing. We see a change coming here, a revolution that could take over in the muscle car area. So some of those cars, unfortunately, the brand new Teslas, are going to end up in their junkyards. But some of their batteries will have a second life powering custom EVs. That's interesting. Probably not quite yet for the average person, but for the discriminating buyer, an electric muscle cars, intriguing. It might be a heresy to the old rumbling internal combustion. Huh? Well, anyway, that's kind of fun, something different going on that might improve everybody's lives. We'll see. I hope so. So like and comment on my videos, subscribe to my channel, and get out there and just make it a great day.